Okay, welcome everyone. So this is a quick one on how to operate SQL queries within your Jupyter Anaconda platform. I am under the impression that you've managed to download or work with Jupyter before, but really our intent here is to kind of do the same thing, but we want to be able to grab the database within the context of the Jupyter, within the environment of Jupyter, and also run the code. So if you go to your lab too, you should see a bunch of different files. One of the files being is going to give you some information on the Jupyter notebook. So to be precise, to run Jupyter SQL queries within Jupyter environment, you need this SQLite, SQLite or SQLite -sequila.db, this file here that I am pointing out, and then also the code itself. Now, this is part of your sprint one, scenario one. So the key thing here is that if you're using this structure, so what I did here was I downloaded the files and I created a folder here. You do whatever you think, but the only requirement is wherever you're putting your code, the database has to be on the same folder. So if you look at it under the setup, I see SQLite database in here, and then the code also. So I've opened it already here. So let me click on this one, wherever you put it, and it should load up the file. Okay, I'm just going to close this so that I don't have duplicate, but it should look something like this for you. And these are, the way to understand this is there's a bunch of different libraries that we need. And every snippet of block of code is explained by what we're doing. SQLite is just for the connectivity within the same same environment. In other words, we have database and we have the client on the same computer, right? So in this case, we have everything on the same computer as opposed to something else. That's why we need the database on the same folder, or else this wouldn't know where to grab the data from. So these are all the tools. Again, if you want to run the code, you just do run. And this is what we call is a diagram, or ERD, entity relationship diagram. So we want to know what is connected to what, and we'll talk about that as we go through the course. But really, this is telling you the connectivity. Essentially, this little code here creates something called a data frame in Python. So again, nothing fancy. It's got to make sure that whatever query we're running is stored in this data frame so that we can look at it. So to run a query, this we haven't gotten at this point. When you're watching this video, you may not have gotten it to this point, but this is the query. So essentially what this is saying is run everything, run this code in here, the ones in the red, and put it in the data frame here. So, so again, just if you run, boom, and, it's everything that you ran in the query is stored here, and df.head, I want to see first 10 entries, boom, it'll give you first 10 entries. If you want to remove this, you don't want to see it again, highlight this and hit O on your keyboard, should be gone. Same thing, everything from actor. So again, this is too early for us to talk about these things, but I just want the whole intent of this little setup here was to ensure that you know that these two files have to be on the same folder, right? So if you're able to run it, and let's say if you wrote something else and you try to run it, it should give you error, obviously, right? So if you don't see an error, it ran properly. All right, so that is very simple setup on how we do it. We'll be doing the same thing in lab 3 and lab 4 as well. So same setup, make sure your database is on the same folder. All right, thanks a lot.